So DeMar Derozan is arguably playing the best basketball of his career and recently has been playing at a high level. And some of you may say that he should be the front runner for the MVP. Obviously, it is Nikola Jokic right now at the number 1 spot. But as of right now, I think it should be DeMar Derozan with what he's been able to do with the Chicago Bulls. And he's proven to everyone, especially the doubters of the Chicago Bulls when they signed DeMar Derozan, that he's been the best signing of the offseason and showing why he can lead this Bulls team into the finals. So what's up? I'm JDC. We're talking about DeMar Derozan and why he deserves the MVP and just the Chicago Bulls overall, because I think they're in a pretty interesting position. They are the number 1 seed standing at 39-21, so we'll see from right now where they're going to go. And especially in the playoffs, if they're able to really just keep up this high level of play, then I think they're going to be a deep playoff team. And looking at it right now, they are the number 1 seed. They're pretty much on par with most of the teams in the NBA. You know, the Heat, the Sixers, the Bucks, the Cavs, Celtics, Raptors, even the Nets. Looking at the West too, they could even make the finals if they wanted to. But the one real thing that's going to set this team over the hump is if they're able to stay healthy, because looking at their roster overall, you know, Lonzo's been injured, Alex Caruso's been injured, Vucevic has been consistent and inconsistent this season. Zach LaVine has had his fair share of injuries, and overall, I mean, injuries, staying healthy are the 2 most important things for this team. So what's up? I'm JDC. Today we're talking about DeMar Derozan and the Chicago Bulls. But if you like the video, drop a like down below, press the sub button, I'd appreciate it. And let's get to the video talking about DeMar Derozan. So I have a stat line here showing DeMar in his last 8 games. I'll put up the picture right now. He's been absolutely amazing in his last 8 games. And looking at it right now, in the last 10 games, he's averaging around 37 points per game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists on 58% from the field and 33% from 3. So DeMar, he's been able to lead this team in the absence of important role players such as Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso. But even without those 2 players, they've been one of the best teams in the league. And honestly, DeMar Derozan, at just 32 years old, he's been one of the best players overall. And looking at right now, he's actually having one of the best seasons of his career. He's averaging a career high in points per game at 28, averaging basically a career high from 3-point percentage too at 35%. And looking at it right now, almost a career high in basically all categories. So he's been able to prove that he's revitalizing his career on the Bulls. And looking at it right now, he's looking like the front runner for the MVP in my opinion. DeMar Derozan and the Bulls, and you know, with what DeMar Derozan can really do and his skill set, they just really fit together. DeMar Derozan, he's obviously a mid-range shooter slash a slasher, someone that can really just take the ball into the bucket and really just create his own shot in the post. But if we're talking about 3-point line, not really too much there, but he is shooting at a pretty efficient clip at 35%. So he can shoot the 3 ball. It's just that I don't think he's going to take it willingly. So DeMar Derozan, he's also able to really just cover for his teammates. You know, with Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso out, he's able to really just cover where they really just left off. Lonzo, 3-point shooting and defense and playmaking. DeMar Derozan has been able to playmake this season. He's averaging around, he's averaging around 5 assists this season, which isn't all that bad, but isn't all that great either. So it's pretty much average. But at this point in his career, he's really just looking to win a ring. And overall, I mean, I think DeMar Derozan, if he's able to keep up this consistent level of play, I think the Bulls are going to be a top team in the East. If we're talking about like the Bucks, the Heat, or the Sixers, I think they could take them in a 7-game series, because the Bulls, they're just a really scary team when healthy. And that's the one thing I want to keep in mind, is that when they're healthy, they are one of the best teams in the league. But as of right now, they aren't healthy. So, yeah, I mean, DeMar Derozan, he's 4th right now in the MVP race behind, I think, Joel Embiid, Giannis, and Nikola Jokic. So that's some pretty great company to be with. But I think he's better than Nikola Jokic overall, because he's been able to lead this Bulls team without some pretty key players. And overall, I think his play style is definitely way better than what Nikola Jokic is doing right now, especially with the Nuggets being around the 6th seed, 34-25. The Bulls do definitely have a better record than the Nuggets right now, standing at 39-21 compared to the Nuggets 34-25. But you never know. DeMar Derozan could definitely slow down in the next couple of games, but you know, it also is Nikola Jokic we're talking about, who is probably one of the best centers in the league. You know, it's pretty close between Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. And overall, I think DeMar DeRozan going to the Bulls really just saved his career because he was on a mediocre team last season in the San Antonio Spurs, obviously, and they were a rebuilding team, so it didn't really fit his style because he is a vet. But coming to the Bulls, where he's able to really just show off his skills and overall just become a focal point of the offense, I think it really just helped his career. And looking at it right now, it's looking like a pretty great move for the Bulls to really just let DeMar DeRozan go off. And DeMar's game is mostly through the mid-range, obviously, and post-ups, which really just open up opportunities for shooters such as Kobe, Zach LaVine, Vucevic, even Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, who all can pretty much shoot. And that's the one thing I want to talk about, is that DeMar DeRozan has that gravity like James Harden. Not saying that they're the same level of player, but, you know, DeMar DeRozan brings in a level of gravity where people are going to have to guard him in the post, and there's going to be one player at least open for a three-pointer. So that's one thing I want to talk about. DeMar DeRozan has that type of gravity to where, you know, people are going to have to guard him in the post, maybe even a double team. So yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about. The Bulls right now really do have a legitimate chance at the finals, and if they are able to stay healthy and keep up their level of play, they really could make the finals. And it all just depends on if DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine could provide enough offense, if Vucevic and Lonzo can consistently hit their shots and overall just stay consistent, and if their bench can really just keep the same flow as the starters like Kobe White, Alex Caruso, I want to say, Tristan Thompson. You got all these guys off the bench. Ayo Dosunmu, who is a rising rookie in the league. So honestly, that's all I want to talk about. The Chicago Bulls definitely have a bright future ahead of them in terms of, you know, contending right now. With Zach LaVine being a pretty young prospect at around like 24, 25 years old, Ayo Dosunmu, Alex Caruso, Lonzo, they still have all these young guys to build around. And if DeMar DeRozan doesn't really work out with the Bulls, they still do have a pretty great future overall. So that's the video. I'm GC, and I'm out. Peace.